All right, I'm here live today with the Exit Your Way Business Roundtable. I have April Shprintz with Driven Outcomes. April, glad to have you today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Well, I have to tell you, April, I am a little bit intimidated. Your background in TV and broadcasting and stuff, I am not polished. That's for sure. So
Oh, but you're awesomely genuine, and I think that's way more important.
I don't know. We'll see. But it's good to have you on. Good to have you on because when we first connected, it was really, I still remember when I looked at your LinkedIn profile, and I mean, you're really honestly a beast in growing businesses and really showing how to do it. But then I looked at it even more, and you started talking about generosity and things like that because that's that's not really that common when you hear people talking about someone that's really driving growth and then being nice. So can you explain a little bit kind of how your background and then kind of how you got into the generosity culture and how that helped you?
Absolutely. So it started a really long time for me. I had a businesswoman just make a remarkable impact on my life when I was very young, when I was 9 years old.
Wow.
And she very generously took an interest in me when there weren't really successful adults around me in the business world. So I had no role model in that way until I met her. And her taking that interest in me and generously offering her time that way really formed my view of the world and my life and then of business. So as I went out into the business world, both in the military and then when I went into the corporate world, that became my fallback of, give value, invest in, do these things. And I found that as counterintuitive as it seemed to so many folks, that led to really tremendous success. And once I went out on my own to Driven Outcomes, and my big idea was accelerating businesses and helping them be successful as quickly as possible, I realized that this foundation of generosity, which I've named the generosity culture, investing in and giving value to your employees, your clients, and your community was actually also the quickest way to help people be successful. Again, it's counterintuitive, but it works unlike anything else.
No, you're right, and you're right. Employees, community, and customers. I was going to write those three things down because we had our Exit Your Way roundtable on Thursday mornings last week. We talked about recruiting your dream team. We talked about how important it is to do that. That your best employees want to know how you're connected to the community and how you're connected to the customers and how you're going to connect with them.
Absolutely.
And really is important. So I tell you what, we have Andrew Cross is coming in too. He was doing a little travel, but he's in now. Let's see if he's gonna be good. So all right, Andrew, we've got April here. We've started and we're kind of rolling, and she's explaining the generosity culture a bit. She was just talking about how it combines, what's good for employees and the community and the customers. So, and I was explaining to her that when we were talking last week in the business roundtable on Thursday mornings, that was really important when you're going to recruit the best talent. They have to understand how you engage with them, how you engage with the community, and how you engage with the customers. So it kind of ties together.
Hi, April. How you doing?
Great, Andrew. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. Yeah. No, I think it was a great conversation last week, and putting it right to practice too. I think we got on the phone the next day, Damon and I, and we went after somebody that we were recruiting.
Yeah. It really, when you feel that connection with the right people, you really, it's something that, especially now, and this was part of what we talked about with building your dream team, is that, listen, now's the best time to engage with people that you ever could find, because there's so many people are in transition or are really looking for a different opportunity. If it's a good opportunity, that, man, you need to be doing it. So tell us a little bit.
So many talented people.
Oh yeah. So many talented people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So April, tell us a little bit more about when you really started to understand that you could grow these businesses the way you do, or help these people reach their goals and really create this generosity culture, or as I said earlier, just be nice.
Well, I would say that it's not the same as being nice, just because you and I have both encountered, and Andrew, you too, really nice people that aren't really great at moving the needle. So
Yeah.
it's definitely that idea of giving value and investing in these different areas. And interestingly, I saw it in the corporate world in instances that I had where we had client issues that we really needed to get taken care of and handled the right way. And the fact that when you do that, and a lot of people shy away from when they have unhappy clients, but the interesting thing is it's a great time to build that relationship and increase intimacy and really just increase their level of loyalty to the overall partnership. And if you do that well, they end up wanting to do more business with you. So from the very beginning of my career in business, I kept seeing this play out. If you give value and you invest in, you can't help but grow. And in one of those first situations, I was working with a business that had been declining single digits in a declining industry. And after jumping in there and really investing in taking care of them in a generosity culture based way, they were seeing double-digit growth within less than a year in an industry where everyone else was losing money. So it was second nature by the time I started Driven Outcomes to say, look, the first thing you've got to do is look at your people and really make sure they understand that they matter and make sure that you're investing in them. And your employees start first, because if you demonstrate for your employees investing in and giving value to them, just like parents do with their kids, your employees are going to do what you do, not what you say. So if you aren't investing in and giving value to them and you're saying treat the clients amazingly, they may or may not do that. But if you're doing it for them, they can't help but model that with your clients. And then it also becomes very easy to turn around and do that with the community as well. So that's a starting point, but it just makes logical sense. Again, even though it's a counterintuitive idea, as soon as you get in it and you start doing it with companies, it's like a light bulb goes off. And everyone is so excited because they have a way of better fulfilling their purpose than they ever did before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, that's terrific. In generosity, right? You're giving something, and the old adage, and with the businesses I work with, the small businesses, the successful ones are you give to get, but it's amazing, generosity doesn't cost very much.
No, it's mostly time. And I don't want to contradict you, Andrew, but I see it a little differently. It's not even giving to get. It's giving just because you enjoy it and you want to give. And the getting is almost a byproduct.
Yeah.
Because if you look at it as a tit for tat kind of relationship, I don't think it works as well. But when you're giving, you seem to not be able to help but get back in amazing ways you didn't even think about.
Yeah,
no, I totally agree with you. I think if you're just starting out on it and really consciously thinking about it, some people just do it naturally. They're generous, and they don't even think about it; it just happens. But if you are thinking about it doing, that'll be the surprise. And I think that from the experiences, how good it makes you feel, right?
Absolutely.
And how rewarding it is, right? It's such like a really good mentor-protege relationship, which I've benefited from, and also I've been on the other side of it.
Yeah.
But it's really cool.
Yeah, it's interesting, April, when you talk about that, because it is not giving to get, but it's giving because that's the right thing to do. And it's going to come around, and someone mentioned this in something we said today about Zig Ziglar. If you help enough people, you'll get everything you want. And I think what he was trying to say there was something similar. It's don't worry about getting, worry about giving, and that will take care of itself.
Absolutely.
Big it's helping us because we're our DNA, we're so transactional.
Oh God, yeah.
It's just the way we run. You got to think about it a little bit, right? And so you make an excellent point.
Yeah. Well, and two, look at our age, April. I mean, we're obviously not 20, and we were brought up in the hard closer era, where where that was what you did. You went out and you get these deals done, and
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of stuff is, yes, you need to get deals done. You need to close things. You need to sell, but the way of selling has changed so much now that you have to really, you have to show that value. You have to show that and let people buy the way they want to buy, and lead them down that path by showing them value and in their decisions.
Yeah.
So that's
Absolutely.
pretty cool. You've had an interesting career too with some of these companies you've worked for. You've been able to help them grow really big, actually be a part of the ownership group and sell some things up. Can you kind of just talk about that and how you've really learned some things doing that?
Absolutely. So I was in the software industry for a few years, part of a very successful startup called Encino in the financial industry. They sell a software for banks that's built on the Salesforce.com platform. Amazing company. I was there before Employee 100. I think now they have nearly 1,000 employees worldwide, locations all over. And it was really exciting to be part of that, because the idea was, when you came on, look, we're looking to triple every year and then double every year, because this is our growth plan.
Yeah.
And what was really fun there is having the ability to help build a sales process that didn't exist, and to really put a stamp on that of selling as helping, instead of always be closing, always be helping. And the sales can't help but come that way. And what was really amazing is, because that company was young and we were working through building those processes, I got to show people how well it worked. And they could see it in real time. Because it's one thing to go in and say, hey, this is a really great way to sell. And a lot of times, when we have people come in and train sales teams, they may never have sold. So it was really neat to have people see it happen in real time. And then when I go and work with companies now and selling and doing sales enablement based on the generosity culture, I can say, hey, this resulted in huge multi-million-dollar sales by helping, not by giving them the goodbye close, the takeaway close, and all those things that we were taught back in the day.
Yeah.
I love that. That is helping. I'm writing that down. That's great.
Yeah, that really is. I mean, because you are speaking what Andrew and I, or people our age, were taught.
Mm-hmm.
Take away all those things that we were doing then, and for us, Andrew and I in particular, the generosity culture, as you say, and social selling, and some of the other things that are really, really effective now. It's been wonderful for us to be able to learn this, because it's so much more fun. It's so much more enjoyable. It's just like,
right.
And it's so much more successful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it feels better to them, right? Because we all like to buy, but none of us like to be sold. Right. That's the worst feeling in the world. When every once in a while, when that happens to me, I'm like, get me out of here. I do not want any part of this.
Yeah. Well, and it's amplified now when you understand and see and feel that the process, the way when it works well now. And then once someone's trying to sell you on something, you're like you said, get me the hell out. So it is interesting. What other things? I'm just sitting here going, I really enjoy this topic, but I'm coming up, quite honestly, blank with questions right now. And that's cool. So what do you got? Well, Andrew's been on this enough that he knows this just happens once in a while.
Damon we had our round table this morning, so it's a big day. So
and it's towards the end of the day. I think we got to run you a little slack, Damon. I think you've done a fantastic job.
Oh no, it's just fine. It's just like
it's earlier for him. He's got no excuse.
No, I don't have excuses. I should have had better. But this is it's like I said, this is cool to hear you talk about this, because it's just, people have to understand that by doing the right thing. I was talking with a client this week or last week, I can't remember now, but they're in a down industry, like you said, and And I said, well, how much are they spending in this industry now in your areas where you're operating? And I said, are they spending $1 billion? Oh, probably. On the stuff you do, probably. So you're a $50 million company. I think if you figure it out how to talk to people the right way, there's plenty of work. And we were talking about some of the things that we were just discussing, to get to know the people, see how you can help them succeed, and go deeper with those relationships, and then go wider. These are like Fortune 50 companies they're working with, right? So they've got the opportunity to go wider in these companies that really hadn't clicked with them, that their way to sales is not selling, but establishing better relationships and helping those people more, because it will open up those opportunities.
And there's a lot of people that need help right now, but
Yeah.
you know, it's a great time to meet some really, cool people, healthy, but we, small businesses, you're absolutely right. When you look at the size of the market, and that's the best thing about being in a small business, is you just need to put a little more elbow grease on it when times get like this. It's not like you're moving the Titanic around, the iceberg. You got a little speedboat. You can get around, pick up a few more accounts, do something a little different. That's the beauty of it, which is fun.
Well, and focus on, I say this to folks all the time, focus on the H's, not the N's. So focus on helping people, not the money you make. Yeah. Because if you're focused on helping, you win whether you make a sale or not. You feel good whether you make a sale or not. And even though people tend to categorize selling as either hunting or farming, I would argue that selling is always farming, because you're investing in the soil, you are planting seeds, and you don't know when those seeds are going to come up and be fruit, but it doesn't matter, because you just keep planting and you always have plenty to eat, but you're always enriching the environment and the people that you're with, instead of one and done transactional kind of mentality.
Yeah, true. Very true. Farming. That's another one. I'll write that down. That's excellent.
I am writing that down, because I was actually talking about the hunters and I used gatherers when I was talking. But farming is right. You always have to be farming, and that's where when you see the truly successful people in a sales type role, they tend to be people that are giving and help. And
especially long-term success.
Yes.
You can success for a couple years if you're being transactional, but someone has a long reputation, they are giving more value than they are getting in money.
If you help somebody now, they won't forget. That may be, long term, that may be the best customers you'll ever have in your whole career. The ones you can make a relationship with now and help out.
Well, and I don't think it's COVID specific. I can think of scenarios where someone really needed help, even when I was at Encino, the company I was talking about. And because of their unique needs or budgetary constraints, I would recommend a competitor product that would work, but work better for them from a financial standpoint without all the bells and whistles, and got more referrals from that customer I never actually did business with than people I had done business with, because they valued that help so much, and they felt fine sending people to me because they knew that I was going to be looking out for their best interest, whether that aligned with getting a sale for the company I was representing or not. And I think that especially now, that's what people want to know. People want to know that you care and that they matter more than whether or not you close a deal.
Tell me about the clients you're working with, April. What do you? Who is it you're really doing the best with, and what's your, who you're helping?
Without divulging anything, you can, of course, but
So size-wise, I can make the biggest difference in the small to medium businesses, and the reason that is similar to probably what you guys experience. I've worked with Fortune 500 and Fortune 100 companies. You can make a really big financial difference there, but it still looks like a rounding error on their books. Because they're dealing in such high revenue. So with those small to medium businesses, it can be very impactful for them from a financial standpoint. And also, they're more nimble. It's easier for them to execute on changes and to make really meaningful additions to their culture. So that's where I can help the most. As far as industries, I am industry agnostic, and I love that because I have learned so much in so many different areas because of it, from a trucking company to interior design to K-12, the K through 12 education space, to buying and selling metal. It really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, the generosity culture can help any kind of industry.
Yeah.
That's a good point, because I tell you what every person like yourself gets asked when they walk into a company: have you helped a company like us before? And they're asking for industry, right? But what they don't understand is that that's not as important as, do you have skills that can help my company, and can you take all of the experience that you gained everywhere else and apply it to my company? Because that's more valuable than understanding, say, the buying and selling of metal.
Sure, because they have experts at their particular niche that you can leverage and learn from, and they have all of that they need. If that was really what would move the needle for them, they wouldn't have called you in the first place.
Yep, that is very true. That's very true. It's a good point.
And you need that perspective, different perspectives.
You need a different perspective.
Sometimes, and have you guys experienced this? Sometimes I'm the person in the room, because I'm not as familiar with the industry, that asks that quote unquote dumb question that ends up being a genius idea, because they've so long discarded it, they don't even think about it anymore.
Yeah.
So to me, sometimes that's a benefit.
And I do the same thing too when we work with companies and we're selling them too. I say, well, the buyer probably doesn't have much experience in your industry either. So if you can explain it to me,
right,
and make me understand it, which that's the challenge, then we'll have a better chance of selling your company.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah, that is for sure. That is for sure. Well, if people want to get a hold of you, April, and I don't mean this is stop, just so I don't forget, where's the best place to get a hold of you? Website, email.
The great thing about me is, as hard as my last name is to say, I am the only April Shprintz in the US. So you can just Google my name and find me. My website is drivenoutcomes.com. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. One thing I would like to mention that I do on my website, you can sign up for just some complimentary calls with me to help you with your business. There's absolutely no sales pitch. This is how I give back. And it's fun for me because I get to learn about different businesses. But what I really love is there have been a great number of times where just in those 3 calls, I can give people enough information that they can run with that, and they can do some really important things with their business.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
That's awesome. Are you still doing some? I attended one of your webinars a couple of weeks ago. You still got that going? That was really cool.
So I'm not doing those weekly anymore. I've stretched those out because, like you guys, with COVID and all of the different things that are going on, my business has ramped up even more. So as much as I can balance doing that along with taking care of my clients, I absolutely am. Really admire that you guys have been able to keep up weekly. That's pretty impressive.
Well, we just get other people to do the talking. So
that's
it's hard to find cool people and turn them loose, and it seems to be working so far.
It's a great plan.
Yeah, because it is fun, and it's fun to let people showcase their knowledge and share it with people. For us, it's a good time, and as I said before, it'd be great if we can get you on sometime, April, because I think this would be an interesting topic, because we have several other people too that talk extensively about kindness and some other things too. I think that plays into it very well, because this is something that is not just a it's part of business now, because there's so much more to business in attracting and running the best businesses now than just having a solid business plan and executing that business plan. It's engaging your people, engaging your customers, creating raving fans, and the things that you need to do. And it is part of generosity is part of that, and kindness is part of it, and being involved in your community, and all these things are tied together to really make the truly successful companies, I believe. So,
yeah, completely agree. Completely.
Yeah. You talk about giving, and I can't, and there might even be some people on that watch this that know this guy. There was a salesperson that when you talk about in a nondescript kind of industry, but create a memorable impression on me is there was a gentleman by the name of Bill Ryder that was a supply. He sold different supplies. I don't even remember what all he sold. When it was the first plant I ever built in Tennessee, and I ran it for a number of years. And Bill was a kind of salesperson that if you ever talked to him and you said, I need this kind of thing, Bill, he said, I'll take care of it. I'll help you.
Love it.
And it was, like you said before, it was not necessarily something he sold, but it could be something somebody else sold. But he was interested in giving that value and did that every single time he could. And the relationships that were created by that, both with myself and then just about everyone else in the area that ever heard his name, he was wildly successful.
Sure.
And it was awesome just because of that constant attention to really trying to give when he was talking to somebody. So
I love it. And so you still remember who he is, right? What an amazing impression he made on you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I'll bet you could talk to 10,000 people in that area where I did, and he did the same way. Just one of those kind of people. And it is because of that giving attitude. So, or mindset, whatever. I'm not using the right words, but any last things you'd like to share with people, April? I want to be allow you to do that. It's been awesome to talk to you. So last words.
On my website, as well as on my YouTube channel, there are a lot of complimentary resources for folks who might not be in a place where they could work with someone like me or ready to work with folks like you, but need some extra incentive and advice about their business. So you can go and check those out, and I hope that you find value in them.
Awesome.
Great. No, the website again
is drivenoutcomes.com.
drivenoutcomes.com. Great. Perfect.
Very good. So Andrew, any last thoughts from you today?
I'm good. Just running between appointments here. So I'm sorry I was late, but I'm glad I got to see you again. Yeah.
Good to get you on, man. Good to get you on with us. So April, thanks a lot again. We've got April Shprintz with Driven Outcomes here on the Exit Your Way Business Roundtable. Thanks everyone for getting on. And you will also be able to see this on our Facebook channel live, of course, now, YouTube channel live, of course, now, but you can look at it later. And I will also put April's contact information in the comments. Awesome. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Have a wonderful day.